Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We kind of talked about the Miami Hurricanes at the beginning of this transfer portal window, kind of pushing their chips into the middle of the table and really going all in this 2024 season. You fast forward to today, that's exactly what this program is doing. They are going after some of the top targets that are available in this spring transfer portal window. Want to talk about some of the names that they're going after and kind of have the discussion that, all right, which players should the Miami Hurricanes really be prioritizing over the next couple of days? They're going to try their hand at multiple top targets. What are the guys that are you kind of consider the must-gets over the next couple of days? That's what I want to talk about. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. A massive shout out to the Miami Hurricane fans. Y'all know I love talking this program. The amount of support y'all continue to show to the boys, whether we're talking the recruiting trail, the transfer portal, cannot thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. More importantly, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section as well in terms of what players you would be prioritizing if you're Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes. And without further ado, let's get into this one. Now, I want to start with a position group that I was kind of vocal. I didn't think Miami needed to do that much in, but we also kind of said on that same hand, Mario Cristobal, whenever he gets a chance to make the line of scrimmage play better for this Hurricanes program, he's going to be taken up on it. Simeon Barrow Jr. is kind of your Jared Harrison Hunt replacement in a way. I mean, a guy that is solid against the run, but you have him on the field because he's a very good pass rusher, 6'3", 296. You take a look at the numbers, 14% pass rush win rate from the inside, 17 quarterback hurries. I see him as a similar player to Jared Harrison Hunt, where he's probably not the biggest difference maker in the run game. But you talk about pass rush juice, and I always said that Jared Harrison Hunt was kind of the unsung hero of that Hurricanes defensive line, a guy that was second in the team in quarterback hurries last year. Simeon Barrow Jr. would probably be that player that kind of replaces a guy like Jared Harrison Hunt. I like him, but I'm going to talk about a guy that I probably would take over him on the defensive line. That is his teammate, Derek Carman, who it sounds like are both going to be on campus for this Miami Hurricanes program early next week. Now, a caveat, Derek Carman going to be taking an official visit to USC, I believe Thursday afternoon. So hopefully for Miami Hurricane fans, Derek Carman makes it to the Hurricanes during the early next week. Now, you talk about a guy like Derek Carman. He's probably my favorite interior defensive line prospect that's available in the portal. He was probably going to get passed by Christian Miller, but Christian Miller coming back out of the portal. Derek Carman gives you the best of both worlds. I think he has a ton of pass rush juice from the inside, but you see the size, 6'5", 320. He gives you so much in the run game too. You look at the Miami Hurricanes and what kind of bodies they've been looking for on the inside of the defensive line. This is kind of the body, right? And you look at 6'5", 320, he carries that weight exceptionally well. He's got over 20 run stops in the Big Ten last year, 18 quarterback hurries. It's really hard to find interior defensive linemen that give you both high productivity in the run game, but also on those third and long situations can get after the passer. I think that's what Derek Carman can bring to this Miami Hurricanes program. So I like Derek Carman more than I like Simeon Barrow. I like them both a lot. If you can get both, you feel really good about the inside of the defensive line. But in my mind, if you're going to get one of these guys on the inside, Derek Carman would certainly be my guy. Now, the next player I want to talk about in terms of probably a pretty big priority for the Miami Hurricanes, and that's Diani Hill coming from Marshall. He'll also be on campus this weekend. Couple of things that I like about Diani Hill and kind of what we talked about in terms of kind of cornerback targets for the Miami Hurricanes. Played a lot of football in 2023. And he also knows guys like Travis Jackson and Lance Guidry quite well. And I love when that's the relationship you have. You take a look at guys like Travis Jackson, Lance Guidry, they wouldn't take Diani Hill if they didn't think he could play at the Power 5 level. And so you look at maybe the questions. He was extremely productive at Marshall in 2023. Phenomenal numbers, right? 61 targets, only gave up 34 catches. He's battle-tested, played at a high level at the Group of 5 level. Now the question is, can he make that jump to the Power 5 level with this Miami Hurricanes program? If Lance Guidry and Travis Jackson, who have been extremely hands-on and know what Diani Hills brings to the table, If they say he can, then if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, you kind of feel good about bringing in a guy like De'Ani Hill. And again, we said experience and productivity, whether it's the Power 5 or Group of 5 level. If Miami was going to grab defensive backs in the transfer portal, it needed to be guys that have played a lot of football and have played at a high level. And I think Hill kind of checks those boxes. And it kind of a little bit of a side tangent here. My Michigan Wolverines did a very similar thing last year where we kind of had question marks about another cornerback. We go after spring practice. We decide to go get Josh Wallace coming from UMass, a guy that's similar to like De'Ani Hill, played a lot of football at the Group of 5 level, played very well, brought him in, was massive for Michigan in 2023. So you've seen kind of moves like this work. I think this would make a lot of sense for the Miami Hurricanes. Probably a priority target because you look at the transfer portal for defensive backs and it's not necessarily loaded with guys who are proven caliber guys. And so I would like to see Miami get this one done. Now, the next one I think is kind of interesting and probably my lowest priority target if I'm the Miami Hurricanes. That's Jalen Alderman coming over from Louisville. He'll be on campus this weekend. He's going to be a depth player for this Miami Hurricanes program. Now, I think the problem I have with bringing Jalen Alderman in is I watched that spring game and I see some of the young guys like Bobby Pruitt play phenomenal football and say, I feel comfortable. We had question marks about the depth at linebacker coming into spring practice. I read the spring practice notes. Guys like Bobby Pruitt and Darius Hayes really seemingly playing very good football. You watch the spring game and you see multiple linebackers play really good and say, is this a position that we need to address in the transfer portal? Because when you have the ability to trust what you have on your roster already or go and get a new guy in the portal, you want to normally lean to trusting what you have in this roster. And I look at that spring game and say, I feel pretty good about the linebackers that are on this Miami Hurricanes program. Jalen Alderman wouldn't start for this Miami Hurricanes program. He's not necessarily a young guy that you can build and develop around. To me, this one doesn't make that much sense, but you kind of have to trust Mario Cristobal, trust what they've seen in practice and say, maybe they want to just go add a veteran presence into that room. I guess it makes sense. Probably my lowest priority. Now, the next one I want to talk about, Sam Brown coming from Houston. Now, the Miami Hurricane fans know that I've been pretty vocal that I don't think Miami needs to go and address a wide receiver in the portal, but I did say that if Miami were to go and address the wide receiver position in the transfer portal, it looked like a player like Sam Brown, right? 6'2", 200 pounds, over 800 yards at the Power 5 level last year in the Big 12. I really do trust Isaiah Horton to be kind of that guy that can work vertically down the field. That being said, you haven't seen it yet from Isaiah Horton. This is the perfect guy we talk about, right? He can operate after the catch, but he's got a big frame. He had some very good speed, very good frame, working vertically down the field with proven production, experience at the Power 5 level. Those were the boxes that we wanted to see checked. If Miami was going to go after a wide receiver, Sam Brown certainly checks all of those boxes. Relationship with Cam Ward, this one would make a lot of sense. Again, guy that checks all the boxes that we wanted to see the Miami Hurricanes check. Now, the last target and probably the most exciting target, and at this point, I'll just go out and say it. My top priority for this Miami Hurricanes program, if you said, all right, we can leave the weekend landing one commitment, who would it be? I tell you it's Damian Martinez. And why is it Damian Martinez? I just feel like he puts this team over the top from a talent standpoint. You look at this Miami Hurricanes offense, from what you saw from Cam Ward, not only at Washington State, but in the spring game, he's going to be a massive step up. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You look at the pass catches around Cam Ward, massive check. You look at the offensive line, one of the better units in the country. The running back position, we trust guys like Mark Fletcher, but the injuries kind of concern you. Why not? If you have every box checked, why not just go put a check next to the running back name as well? Bring in Damian Martinez, one of the best running backs, not only in the portal, but in the country heading into 2024. This one would make a ton of sense. And I think that I was on the fence about it 2 weeks ago. I am full on the Damian Martinez hype train heading into 2024. Would love to see this one get done. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of this Miami Hurricanes transfer portal visit weekend, next couple of days, if you want to call it We'll keep you guys updated as usual. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.